Mr. President is traveling on official duties to Kenya today, but he graciously made out time for me to come forward and brief him on the status of our engagement with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, who have embarked on what they call a warning strike that will last for 1 month. You will also recall that before then, the Inter-Religious Council of Nigeria, NIREC, led by the Sultan, Abubakar, Sultan of Sokoto, and the president of Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Dr. Samson Ayokule, had met with Mr. President on the 1st of February after their submission, which was all aimed at averting the impending ASUU strike. Mr. President mandated the Chief of Staff to the President, myself, Minister of Labor, and the Minister of Education and Minister of Finance to find a very urgent and quick solution to the issues mentioned and the complaints therein. And we started to do the necessary engagement. We did those engagements as proactive measures. So we, first of all, as a side meeting, I engaged the NIREC and gave them a little synopsis of what the issues were, and made it clear to them that the 20 December agreement with ASUU was on course in terms of implementation. And thereafter they met ASUU and discussed with them on the 3rd of February and asked ASUU to be patient with them as they engage us. In labor parlance, that engagement is allowed. When you have two groups quarreling or disagreeing, especially in issues of conditions of service and thereabout, or what have you, a third party can join the negotiation, and that is called bipartite plus. Or if it is like we did in the minimum wage, it becomes tripartite plus. So they agreed with the NIREC that they will have to give them some time. Of course, official duties took me out of the country to Botswana, and the Chief of Staff was also out. And then so we scheduled that we reconvene when we come back. So I was in transit when I heard that ASUU had declared a strike for 30 days, 1 month. I had come back, and when I came back, I invited them for a conciliation meeting with the employers on the government side, Ministry of Finance, Budget Office of the Federation, Ministry of Digital, Communication and Digital Economy, who has supervisory role over NIDA, over the issue of University Transparency Accounting Solution called UTAS, which ASUU said they had developed to replace IPs. Anyway, so today I have to come and brief Mr. President on the success made, because we held a meeting with ASUU last Tuesday, and we have also agreed to reconvene today in the afternoon by 2 p.m. So the areas where we don't have issues finalized completely is the issue of end allowances and revitalization. Otherwise, we have put timelines on most of the other things. The draft proposal they have with their employers, the Ministry of Education, we give them a timeline for it to be concluded, for their condition of service and wages and everything to be looked at. Yes, our university lecturers here deserve good pay. The worker is due his wages. So if we compare with what obtains in other climes and are not adequately remunerated, nothing stops government from within the lean resources that we have uh, do some compensation raise and make them happy. So we are not opposed to that, but there's a process, like I explained to them. The process is that the committee, internal committee in Ministry of Education, headed by chair of pro-chancellors, will submit their report, and the report will be looked at by the officials of the ministry in conjunction with the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, so that they make sure that none of the allowances so proposed runs counter to government extant fixtures. Say, example, if you are talking about per diem for university lecturers, you will not make it different or be above what is in the Eastern Circular. So these are the issues, and I'm hopeful that when we come back this afternoon, we'll finalize most of the things. In between, the Students' Union or National Association of Nigerian Students have also, well, gotten into the affray and threatened to call out students on mass protests. We have, I held discussion with them even on Sunday when the security agents alerted me that they were in Abuja and said if I could offer some time. Yes, I did offer my time because in this my job, you don't get tired of talking or conciliating or negotiating. So we did, and we let them know what the true picture is, and they were satisfied. So they are there, and I learned they were in Ministry of Education yesterday. So it's total, complete gamut, and the president was satisfied with the account I've given him. And that's what brought me to the villa this afternoon. Thank you. Any question? It might be important if I want to do you a little bit of dissection to let you know that why I say that the 2020 December agreement we had with them is on course and in terms of implementation is that in that agreement there's a line that says that we pay, the federal government should pay uh, uh, 30 billion, no 40 billion for revitalization. That money was paid. Another aspect of it said we should 40 billion for EAA and allowances for ASUU and other unions. That has been paid, sorry. It's 40 billion. Then 30 billion was also budgeted to be paid, were to be paid for revitalization. That also was paid late last year. 22.127 billion was agreed also in that December agreement to be paid from supplementary budget as EAA and allowances for 2021. That money was also paid about November last year. It was put in the supplementary budget and passed around June, or thereabout, June, July, and it was remitted. So government have done that. UTAS, which they develop, have been subjected to tests by Nigeria Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA. And they ran tests, user acceptance tests, the one they call integrity tests and vulnerability tests. They pointed out in a letter, in a report to ASUU, the areas of lapses in their solution, which will not make it usable as presently done, as presently configured. So ASUU has written back to them to say that some of those observations were not correct. So the logical thing we have done is to agree that the two technical teams will meet. They have been working together before, but right now they will not meet and do those tests, which ASUU says that their own is perfect. And neither say that they did not fulfill the requirement, they cannot stand in integrity or vulnerability, they should not retest. So again, we gave the committee about 4 weeks to come back to us. So we can see we are making progress in this respect. So Mr. President is satisfied with the report, and I'm going back to the second stanza of this meeting, which was today. Thank you.